Nice. Okay. Hello and welcome to Genie World and another exercise using our Spark software. Today's title is Limericks. So this is based on 5-line poems created by Edward Lear over 200 years ago. And the key thing we're looking for is setting up quick links and editing live Word documents inside Spark. So if I just this is a resource folder, which again, these are things I'll be using, but they'll be there for you to download from the Genie World's website. So if you want to repeat this or share it with colleagues. So first of all, I'm just going to open up a Spark page. So let me just switch to the Spark page. And this is the icon I'm looking for, the shortcuts bin. And if I open that, you can see I've already got one shortcut in there. Now, the shortcuts can be to a document, it can be to a program on your laptop, computer, or it can be to a website. So it's going to take you wherever you put the route in. So what I need to do is click on Edit, and here, New. So when this window opens up, now if it was going to be something to find on my computer, I click on Browse, that will take me to any folder where I've got documents or programs. And then OK to close that window. So when I'm ready, so I would have done this before my lesson. So we've introduced Limericks and I want a bit more information. So there's my quick link. And that takes me straight to the web page. So again, it's a very quick way of setting things up and negotiating. So again, we've got background information. Limerick, silly poem with 5 lines, famous by Edward Lear, his book of nonsense in the 1800s. And again, a bit of technical information. The first, second, and the fifth lines rhyme with each other. So that's typical of a limerick. They have the same number of syllables, 8 or 9. It's not, you don't have to be exact. For the middleish 2 lines, the third and fourth lines rhyme with each other. And number of syllables is typically 5 or 6. And once you start a little poem, there once was a, you know it's going to be a limerick. So that's a typical start. So here's the limerick here, 5 lines. So the 1 and 2, and 5, and then the shorter middle 2. So that's taken us straight to the website. We've made our introduction and we've explained what we're doing. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of that. Let me just take that down. And excuse me, we are back to Spark. So what I've done is taken an image of one of the original Edward Lear poems. And what I'm going to do is go to Media. And then this is taking me to a folder I've used already. This is my resource folder. And this is the image I'm looking for. So I click on there once. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Drawings that I'm using. So let's have a look at this poem. So we've got 5 lines. We've got the 3 longer lines, lines 1, 2, and 5. And the shorter lines. So there was an old man of Koblenz, the length of whose legs was immense. He went with one prance from Turkey to France, that surprising old man of Koblenz. So they're nonsense poem, amusing, good fun to try and write them yourselves. So if we look, we can use our highlighters if we want. So we can see this line, those rhyme, Koblenz, immense, Koblenz again. So we can repeat that word. Let me just change the color. So let's go for yellow. And then we've got down here, we've got, just go down, prance and France. So that's the rhyming. And then if we count the syllables, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 syllables there. So we've got 8, I hope, possibly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the third line, 5 on the fourth line, and hopefully that's 8 on there. But again, that's something for you to check and annotate on the image. So that's introducing the idea of the limerick. So what I'm going to do now is just go on to the next page. And again, this is something I would have pre-prepared. So what I've got on here is a limerick that I've split the lines up. And again, remember this is our Genie boards. Touch screens are multi-touch, so this would be a nice collaborative exercise. And the idea is to rejumble these back to what it should be to make a limerick. So if we look at the last lines, bark, shark, so we've got 2 rhyming words there, and we've got kid, sid, and did. So that's all sorted out because they're shorter lines anyway. We can imagine that's the first one because they usually start there once was. So again, I can slide that into position. There once was a poor boy named Sid. So it's a choice between that one and that one. Again, I suppose a bit of thought, we'd hopefully come to the conclusion it was that one. He thought he knew more than he did. Let me just tidy this up. So we've got bark and shark. So it's either that one followed by that one, but I think this makes more sense, so we can slide that into position. Let me just tidy this out of the way because we know it's going to be the last one. And then slide this into place. We'll see how that reads now. We can count syllables to check. We can look at rhyming words, sid, did, kid, shark, bark, and that's it. There once was a poor boy named Sid who thought he knew more than he did. He thought that a shark would turn tail if you bark, so he swam out to try it. Poor kid. Quite a sad little one in the end. So that's a nice exercise to get children to really think about the construction of something like a limerick. Right, I'm going to go on to the next page because this is really where we can use one of the great tools that is built into Spark. So if I go to Tools and I go to Window Player, if I click on there, I get this box open up, and in here I can bring in any Microsoft file. So Word, it could be it's PowerPoint or it could be Excel, whatever you want. So if I go to Open File, again, it's taking me to the folder I was using, and there's a poem in here that, again, I've pre-prepared. It's on a Word page. So if I click on there, it'll ask me, do I want to open it? Yes, I do. So let me just open that window out so we can actually read. I need to make that bigger. Struggling a bit here. It won't pick up the corner. So hopefully, why won't it do that? No, it's not that. Right, that was me and not very good mouse control. So what we've got is type this out, and it's a partially written limerick. There once was a Martin named Zed, blah 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 blah. He sent out a lot of TD dot, but nobody knows what he said. So we're looking for that line there. We know it's got to be 8 syllables, and it's got to be a word that rhymes with Z and said. Now, again, this is a nice little online site I've already prepared. So I'm going back to my shortcuts bin, and this is one I prepared earlier. And it's another website. So if I click on there, that takes me straight to the website. And this is quite a nice one. Again, children use this quite happily, where you find a rhyme. So if I put a word in there and click on rhyme, it should give me a choice of words. So let me type in Z. Okay, and click on rhyme. And I'm hoping, so we have all these words that rhyme with said and Z. It's quite an easy word to match up. So you got 1 syllable, 2 syllable words, go down 3 syllable. So a whole range of words. So if I just go back to, let me just, if I go back to here, that should open up. Coming. Thought I'd lost it then. It's come back. And we're looking for that line. Now on here, we can have suggestions. So we can either use the typewriter keyboard, or let's just write on here. So thread, I've forgotten some of the words that are on there. Bed, whoops, not a nice colour. Sorry, I'm using the mouse to write. It'd be a lot easier if I was at the board. So around here, we can have a whole lot of suggestions. So as the children, the pupils make suggestions, we can make notes around the outside. But the brilliant thing here is once we've decided on the line, we can actually write it onto the Word document. So I'm going to try one of my own, which I did make up earlier. So let's have a look. Oops. That's it. So click in there. Right, and the big problem is, will I spell aerials properly? Aerials on his head. So there was once a Martian named Zed who had aerials on his head. He sent out a lot of GD dot, but nobody knows what he said. So that's on the Word page. I can say that, we can print it out, and we can do group poems, whatever we want, and print them out on Word and save them. So lots of fun to be had. Some really useful techniques, I think, especially for pre-preparation in lessons. So setting up your quick links, bringing in documents, we brought in an image. So plenty of ways that you can use Spark in this particular situation. So this would be a literacy lesson, poetry lesson, and that will help it to run nice and smoothly, and hopefully get the children to contribute as much as they can. Okay, so I hope that's been useful. I think that's a really nice way of using Spark tools. So thank you very much, and I think this is the time that we look at closing the meeting. Thank you, and okay, let me just close that. Thank you.